Not long ago, presidential candidate Kamala Harris put out her plan to reform the VA and improve the situation for our veterans in a number of different respects. The plan is complex, you can read about it online, but some of the highlights include reversing the transgender ban in the military that was put into effect in the last couple of years, expand healthcare and housing assistance for veterans, reinstate benefits for those discharged for conduct that was the result of post-traumatic stress disorder and traumatic brain injuries, protect vets from scams around for-profit colleges, and a number of other issues that have gone unaddressed for a very long time. And joining us now to discuss is someone who knows quite a bit about this situation, congressional candidate Jose Caballero for the 53rd District in California.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you are a veteran.
Yes, I am.
So what do you think about this plan?
So I think it's a great step in the right direction. First, addressing and reversing the military transgender ban is critical, right? Because we shouldn't be stopping Americans from serving the country. This is a volunteer force, so if you want to volunteer and you're physically fit, you should be able to join. I think that when it comes to the other than honorable discharges, I think that there is a lot of factors that go into that may not be fair. It may be a lapse in judgment, by getting behind the wheel and being inebriated or possibly getting into a fight and those type of things. We should be able to protect our veterans, even if they serve, even when they make a mistake. And the fact that we're ripping benefits away from veterans that make one mistake in their entire careers is a tragedy, and we need to protect that.
Do you think there's some kind of, at least as far as ripping benefits away for certain things, there's a secondary agenda behind that, maybe to, not for the punishment purposes or for the purposes of making sure people don't do that, but for the purpose of just reserving some level of money to throw somewhere else?
There is a lot of that. So you got to think about, you have the VA loan, which is a very large benefit. You have the education benefit that's also very large, and the fact that there are some veterans that I know personally who got a loan repayment program, and they got an other than honorable discharge, and then they have to repay back the military. I know people right now that are getting their wages garnished because they owe the military money because they got an other than honorable discharge. So it's a big deal.
Yeah, it is, and it seems like I'm not a vet, but from a complete outsider's perspective, it seems pretty good. But I want to compare it to another plan. This is one of the cores of your campaign. This is the Hero's Promise. If we could bring up a graphic, it's going to have some details about it. So tell us about what from your plan would you like to see Kamala Harris or other presidential candidates take up?
I would love to see the end of service pension included to the plan, because we need to make sure that we give economic benefit to allow a transitioning military member into the civilian world. And Kamala Harris even explains this on the transition, on how difficult it is as a veteran to come out of the military into civilian life. And if we give them some form of a pension, something small, something that can last a couple years to get them back on their feet, I think that's very critical. And I think that we should also include the mental health services, because Kamala Harris does say some things like, people on PTSD tend to act out. It's not acting out. This is a mental health issue, right? So this isn't some teen angst that some veteran has, right? So this is actually a real serious issue. So I'd like to see more mental health structured into this plan. I think that's something I would like to see for sure. The whole thing if possible, but yeah, I can deal with that.
So sort of around that issue, there are several vets running for president right now. You've got obviously Tulsi Gabbard, I believe Buttigieg served, Tim Ryan, I believe.
Yes.
I apologize if I miss any others. I haven't heard these sorts of plans being a big part of most of the debates or anything like that.
Right.
Should it be a larger part of the conversation?
Absolutely. When we're losing 20 veterans a day to suicide, this is an epidemic. The fact that today is 9/11, the fact that since 9/11 we have lost 139 veterans to suicide, that is the issue that we need to be addressing right now, because too many families are being devastated every day because of these tragedies. It's an epidemic. And so yes, I think it needs to be front and center on the debate stage at some point.
Here on the Damage Report, we talk a lot about the big banks and their ways of getting rich off the poor. They saturate the market, but there are other options. And I've got info on a socially and environmentally responsible financial institution that has no ATM fees, gives you cash back on every purchase. They even commit 10% of their earnings to charity. It's called Aspiration, and if you go to aspiration.com/TYT to sign up, you'll get these perks, and that's more money to spend or to save or to spend. Just treat yourself.